Hey there again, this is Opa from Opa's Place. Been gone for a little while. Know y'all missed me. Some of y'all probably didn't even know I was gone. Today, we're going to talk more about why, asking why. I say that in all my videos, but I'm going to give you a few things to think about as why, and then we'll, in some more videos in the future, we'll elaborate on these and build on these. To start with, why would the government be scared of the citizens owning guns? Why would they want to disarm the citizens? Why was the Second Amendment put into the Constitution? Both of those kind of link together. Another one is, why does the government insist on putting corn in gas, ethanol? Give you a little bit of thinking on this, critical thinking. If you put 10% ethanol in gasoline, your gas mileage drops 10%. So you're still using the same amount of gasoline to go the same distance. So you're not saving anything on petroleum products if that's what they're trying to do is reduce the pollution from gasoline. You're not saving anything. So just think about that. Why would the government be able to take your house that's worth several $1,000s, several $100,000? Why would they be able to take that house because you can't come up with a couple of $1,000s in property tax every year, and they can just take your house and sell it to somebody else? Why would they be able to do that? How do politicians become millionaires? They go in office worth a few $100,000, and in no time they're millionaires. How does that happen? Why are so many people worried about climate change? When I was in high school back in the 60s, we were worried about a new ice age coming. They were digging up dinosaurs, and they had undigested food in their stomachs and all, and they were saying, man, we're going to have another ice age. Of course, that came pretty quick. That wasn't a gradual thing. I don't know what they were thinking. And then they said, no, we're going to have global warming. And then it started snowing a lot in the winter, and they said, well, maybe I'll change this thing to climate change. When you're thinking about that, just remember this. We did not start recording temperatures until the mid-1800s. That's less than 200 years they've been recording temperatures. So how the heck they know? They can't even tell if it's going to rain next week. So how do they know what the temperature was hundreds or thousands of years ago? How can the government take the law of the land? The Constitution only has 1,443 words, and out of that they come up with tens of thousands of pages of laws and regulations. How do they do that? I keep telling you to read the book Atlas Shrugged. And in Atlas Shrugged, there's a quote from a character in there called Dr. Ferris. And this is what he said about all the laws. Did you really think we want these laws to be observed? We want them to be broken. There's no way to rule innocent man. The only power any government has is the power to crack down on criminals. Well, when there aren't enough criminals, one makes them. One declares so many things to be a crime that it becomes impossible for men to live without breaking the law. You don't reckon that's what happening now, do you? I think it might be. Sounds reasonable anyway. I've said, it's in my book, and I tell people we don't need but one law. And when I tell people this, there's usually a smart aleck that you talk to, and they tell you that, well, you need laws for speeding and running red lights and stop signs. I'm talking about laws where they take you to court and they lock you in jail. Don't need but one law. Don't mess with nobody, and don't mess with nobody's stuff. That's it. Email me. Tell me a law that wouldn't fit into that one law that would be something the government should be involved in. Don't mess with nobody, and don't mess with nobody's stuff. All this started with Oliver Wendell Holmes, who was a Supreme Court justice in the early 1900s. I know you've all heard this. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Well, by making that decision, what they say is, well, we can regulate speech, and if we can regulate speech, we can regulate anything in the Constitution, because you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Well, that's not what he said, and this is a perfect example of where you can take one word out of a sentence and completely change the sentence. This is what he said: the most stringent protection for free speech would not protect a man in falsely shouting fire in a theater and causing a panic. The word falsely. He didn't say nothing about shouting fire in a crowded theater. Don't even say crowded, but it don't say, they leave the word falsely out. In other words, he wasn't just standing up saying fire, fire, and everybody running. It's falsely doing it. If there was a fire, you can shout fire in a crowded theater. Get everybody out. So from that, they just decide they can make all these laws. They can regulate everything in the Constitution. And by the way, that case was thrown out on appeal eventually with the Supreme Court. It was actually a case where there was somebody passing out pamphlets during World War I that were saying that the draft was unconstitutional, and that was what brought the whole thing up. And I've asked you before about the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. The Constitution limits government. It don't limit the people. Just read the Bill of Rights. It limits government, not the people. Everything in it limit. Now, when you get down to the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights, look at those two amendments real good and see what you get out of those, and let me know, because I've been reading over those, and there's some interesting thoughts that can go into the 9th and 10th Amendment. I think we're headed to some bad times, and I'm an optimistic person, but I think we may be headed for some trouble. Biden has said in the past few months that if Trump wins the election, there will not be a peaceful transfer of power. I have no idea what he meant when he said that. He might not know what he meant when he said that. He's also been saying 2 or 3 times in the past few months that you people in this Second Amendment thing and your rifles and your guns, you can't do nothing with the government. We got fighter planes and nuclear bombs, so y'all's guns are worthless. So what the president's saying is that due to the Second Amendment, if we just say, if you're trying to keep your guns, you ain't got a chance. We'll just come blow you up. I mean, that's the craziest thing I ever heard from a president. What kind of country we live in? So the election's coming up. And basically what it amounts to, if you're happy with paying twice as much as you did for gas 3.5 years ago, and you're happy with mortgage rates being 3 or 4 times what they were 3.5 years ago, or you're happy paying 2 or 3, 4 times for groceries what you did 3.5 years ago, and you like the borders being open and people just coming in here, they're bringing them in on airplanes, they're coming in here, they're taking your jobs, they're taking your medical care, they're taking your education system, and there's no money to pay for all this. They're just printing money right. If you're good with that, you know who to vote for. But if you don't like that, you know who to vote for. So I'll leave it at that. I mean, it's obvious which direction we're heading, and it don't matter which way we're going. I think it's going to be bad either way, as far as the reaction of people. So maybe not. It'd be good if everything went smooth and we got everything back to the way it should be, and just continued heading back toward freedom instead of running from it. Now, I just can't believe that half the people in this country, these polls keep coming out, I can't believe that half the people in this country would rather live under a socialist government than a free government. I don't think they're stupid. I think most of them are just ignorant. I think they've been taught the wrong thing in schools. They've been listening to the wrong TV stations. They read the wrong stuff on the internet. Somebody's got them all fired up. Think that socialism is the answer, and good grief, people, it never worked. We don't want to go that way. I don't anyway. And the founding fathers definitely didn't want to go that way. Purchase my book. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on Kindle, a digital copy, or you can write me at opod@opadsplace.com. I'll get you a hard copy. We can personalize it. On the cover, we can have somebody's name put on the cover if you want to give it as a gift. just get in touch with me and let me know. Still hot in some places. We're getting in the fall, so it's not as bad. But if it's too hot for you to walk barefooted on the surface of the ground, concrete or asphalt or wherever it's at, it's too hot for your dog to walk on it. So just keep that in mind. Subscribe to my channel, like my channel, share my channel. We got to get more people thinking, critically thinking, quit repeating what they see on TV and read on the internet. Start thinking for themselves. And we got to do that to save things, save the Constitutional Republic. We're going downhill in flames. So again, apply critical thinking in everything you do. Always ask why. That's the first line in my book on the first page. Always ask why and never give up. If we give up, the outcome's not going to be good. Do not give up, whatever you do. Email me if you got any questions. Email me if you want me to talk about something. Otherwise, just keep checking back in, and we'll post some more things and elaborate on these subjects that we brought up today. Till next time, thank you.